saw there in the fourth quarter from Taj. What was working for him?
Well, I think it was obviously. I think what happens to a guy like that sometimes is he gets in a situation where nothing else matters except for competing and trying to get your team in position to win the game. I think he saw that from him. He finally just said, "Hey, the heck with it. I'm going to be a player and do what I do." And I think that's going to be valuable as he moves forward. I think just to think back about those positive experiences he had at the end of the game. But I think he just got comfortable and he got in a situation where he was just competing, not worried about anything else except for trying to help his team get in position to win. So that was a positive.
Running game, just I think 20 carries for Harper, 35 yards. Can you just talk about that?
Yeah, didn't get much going. Had trouble with when their front moved. He had 20 for 35. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
I think he had the one big negative hurt him a little bit, but just overall, we didn't rush it very effective at all. So credit goes to South Florida. I thought those guys did a good job, and I'll know more when I look at the film.
How would you evaluate Tyler's performance in the second half?
Well, the ball sailed on him a little bit on the interception. It was the right decision. He was throwing it to the right guy and all that. So I think the ball just sailed on him. I think, the biggest thing for him was you saw that the guy could play. And once he got into that mindset that he was going to do what he needed to do to compete, put our team in position to win, he did a lot of good things. So I was, pleased for a redshirt freshman to go in there and make the best of the situation. He's got a lot of growing up to do, and today was a part of that process.
Did you feel like he got better as he went along? He got a little more rhythm?
I think so. I think as time went and he really just got into, I think that happens to you as a player and as a quarterback in particular. I think, at some point or another you kind of figure out, hey, look, I'm just going to try to do my best to help my team, and I think you saw that today.
You know about Brandon Ford and what he did today, stepping up making his play?
Well, we felt like that Brandon was going to be a player just from what we've seen on the practice field. That move's been a good move for him, and it's really helped our team in terms of creating some depth at that position. I think after a good offseason, he's really going to have a chance to be a good player. So you can see he's got great range. He's got really good ball skills. He goes up and attacks the ball. And he's one of those big receivers we recruited out of high school that's growing up and going to turn into a really good tight end as we go forward.
Billy, why didn't the offense gather any traction today?
Well, I think we did early. I think, same old song to some degree in terms of the red zone, missing a field goal, having to kick another field goal. And then I think that South Florida's defense did an excellent job. I think the things that I think are under our control are the turnovers. I think the penalties. We had a couple of procedure penalties today, which is really unusual for us. So those kind of things are what I'll be staying up late at night thinking about. But outside of that, the execution level at times was good, and at times it wasn't very good. I think their defensive front played well. It disrupted, it made the quarterback move quite a bit. And I'll know more based off the tape, the technical things that really were at the bottom of the problem.
So one common stat in all the losses, you threw the ball 30+ times in 7 games this year. You're 0-7 in those games. Is that a meaningless stat, or do you draw something from that?
Well, I think it's got a lot of it has to do with being behind. I think that statistic. I think it's a good statistic. New York Jets, they try to run it 31 times a game, and they feel like that's going to help them win the game. But I think that goes along with just overall good, solid football, playing good defense, good in the kicking game. You're ahead or in the game all the time. When you get down 2 scores, 3 scores, you got to go into a situation where you're going to have to throw the ball. So I think the other thing you need to take a good look at, throwing that stat out there, is did you have 2-minute situations before the half in those games, which I know we did in the Miami and North Carolina game. So, but being behind, you got to throw it, especially late in the game. So there's definitely some legitimacy to that deal.
You expected the offense to be better to go back in August. I know there's some issues you're addressing in recruiting, particularly wide receiver, but you had to expect that the offense would have been better throughout the year.
I did. You know, I think we kind of knew what our weaknesses were going in. And obviously Andre getting hurt, I think, was a big blow. But I also think, you know, in terms of where we went at the receiver position as the year went, the young guys stepped up and, you know, you could see Nuke Hopkins is going to be a heck of a player. You can watch that game today and say, hey, there's a reason why that guy's playing as a true freshman, and he's different than the other guys. You know, I think there's a lot of things that go into it, you know, but my expectations for our offense are what they were the second half of the year last year. You know, when we go to the park and we score 30 plus, 40 plus a game, and that's what we need to do. And there's nobody going to work harder to get it fixed than me. And I've been here when it's good, and I've been here when it's bad. So let's go back to work and find a way to make it happen.
Just some thoughts on it.
You know, I think obviously we got to do some things differently. I don't think that you know, there's some things that we got to take a good look in the mirror at. But I think we also through personnel we're going to get better quick. But the one thing I think we need to take a good look in the mirror about is there's no doubt in my mind I learned this year that leadership amongst the players on one side of the ball and the others is really, really something that you need to put a lot of emphasis on. And I don't think, you know, in terms of the contributors that we had on the senior class on offense, that affected our leadership. The guys that are coming back, sophomores, juniors, you can see it in their eye already in that locker room that they're serious about taking on the role from a leadership standpoint. I'm excited to see that from those guys.
Just some thoughts on how things ended for Kyle with the injury and not being able to play in the second half.
Well, I think he did a lot of good things today, and I'm happy for the kid that he had some positive experiences today. And he went down and moved the ball, scored some points when he was in there. Same injury, kind of a recurring injury, same rib area type deal. So the kid sold out. He came back to play and battled his butt off today. I hate that he got hurt, but you know, I'll remember the positive things that Kyle Parker did at Clemson.